And we are going live in 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Coffee Chat with Adam. I have my coffee right here. Sorry, I don't want to spill it on my laptop. Bia, do you have your coffee with you?
I do.
Here we go.
Cheers.
So today is another episode of Coffee Chat with Adam. I'm joined with Bia Fowler from Aston University. Bia, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Adam. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. I'm so excited to have you here on the show with us today. So today is another episode, like I said, and we're going to be having more episodes coming with more universities joining the show. So be on the lookout for those, okay? So I'm going to start today by asking Bia a very simple question that I love to ask everybody who joins me on the show. Bia, could you please give me an introduction about yourself, your position and duties at the University of Aston?
Yep, of course. So my name's Bea. I work in the international office at Aston University here in Birmingham, the UK's second largest city. And my role is to support the recruitment of international students to the university, specifically from Vietnam. And I've been at Aston now coming up for 2 years. And before that, I was a student myself. So it wasn't that long ago that I was in a similar position to some of your students.
Oh, that feels good, because I can feel that too, because I was a student not so long ago, okay? So it feels great to actually be here working with students as well, because we have that kind of connection with students as well. So we feel you, and we know that you need this kind of support, and we're really happy to be providing you with this support as we feel how you feel as well right now. Could you please tell us more about the university, or Aston University, and kind of like what are some of the unique points that make Aston University Aston University? Okay.
Absolutely. So I think let's start with the location. We're based right in the city centre of Birmingham. So as I said, the UK's second largest city population-wise after London, but far, far cheaper than London. So you can have the buzz of a big city and all the opportunities that brings, but without the London prices. We're also the youngest city in Europe. 40% of the population are under the age of 25, which is quite a scary thought if you're over the age of 25. And we are the fastest growing city business-wise in the UK. So in terms of startups, mainly because there are so many young people, but also lots of big companies are actually moving their headquarters from London to Birmingham to take advantage of the cheap rent for their employees. And then if we look at the geographical location of Birmingham, it's right in the centre of the UK. So we're in a region called the Midlands. So we have the Midlands, the middle of the UK. So we have London, which is 90 minutes south, Manchester, 90 minutes north, and most major cities are about 1 to 2 hours away. So that's the great thing about Birmingham. There's so many things you can do at the weekend. You can explore the UK very easily. I think secondly, would be our focus on employability. And this is largely because most of our courses come with the opportunity to take a placement year. And in fact, we're ranked third in the UK for the number of students that choose to take a placement. And placements aside, even for those students that want to do their university in the shortest time possible, there's still lots of opportunities to build up that work experience alongside their studies. Thirdly, I think scholarships. We offer lots of scholarships for international students, up to £8,000 to help towards tuition fees. And in fact, Vietnamese students do the best with the scholarships. This year alone, 98% of our Vietnamese students, applicants, were offered a scholarship of some kind. So that's very good. And then I think finally, and probably most importantly, we are highly ranked as a reputable university, and we hold gold for teaching excellence. So universities tend to be either research-led or teaching-focused, and we are both. So that's just about sums up all our key selling points, I think.
That's actually great, especially when you mentioned the fact that the city itself is the youngest city. One of the youngest city, or it is the youngest
city in Europe.
The youngest city.
The youngest city in Europe.
This is great for students who actually want to come here to also work, after they graduate from university. And it's a great location, like you said, and prices as well. This is something that I think we will talk about a little bit later, because some students are more interested in how does not only just benefiting from the student life or just being at the the university life or being a student there, but also benefiting from the city and how can I expand my network in the city. And I think this is something that we will go into details like very soon. But scholarships, as you mentioned, Aston University has some really, really high and generous scholarships, and I would like to go into that in some more details if you can provide us with, for example, like the business students, what kind of like scholarships are available to them, if possible.
Of course. So we do offer lots of scholarships for international students, not for our own domestic students, but all for international students, from £3,000 to £8,000. And this is to help towards tuition fees. So it's open to all students on any course. We have a few scholarships for particular courses, but all students can apply for a scholarship. Some of our scholarships are grade related. So if you have very good grades, you will automatically be given a scholarship of around £5,000, and you don't need to apply for that.
Oh, good. So
you don't need to apply for that. You just apply to the university, and you will automatically be given one. If you find that you haven't been given one, maybe you just missed out on the grades, that's okay, because we actually offer even more money, up to £8,000 for non-grade related scholarships. And for this, you do need to apply, but you would just answer. It changes every year, but it's usually just 3 questions about how you'll be a great ambassador for Aston. And as I said before, Vietnamese students tend to do very well answering these questions. So we look for things, we look for evidence of maybe work experience, voluntary experience, any kind of extracurricular activities, anything that's going to make your application stand out a little bit. Something special is what we're looking for. And we may also be having NCUK scholarships as well, so an NCUK Aston scholarship, especially for NCUK students. We're just kind of finalising the details at the moment, so yeah, look out for those as well.
This is something I wanted to check with you as well, because I did hear about like there is a scholarship specific for NCUK students. So our students, you're watching this, be on the lookout, and we'll give you more updates in the future. I'm sure I'm going to receive some more updates from B here. So I think this is actually very good, because a lot of students worry, I'm going to apply to university, I'm not going to be gaining any scholarships. But knowing for a fact you have multiple options, especially the automatic scholarship, that one depends on your grades. So if you performed really well, you have good merits, is the IELTS score also included, or it's not, but I think it would add value. Okay. It would add value. It's mainly the academic grade we would look at. Good. So if you perform really well in the university and you study really hard, you will be rewarded, and that's a really good thing. I love scholarships. That's one of my favorite topics to talk about. I think scholarship is one of the great aspects of university, but what about the teaching methodology that the university uses in teaching the courses, or for example, does the university use any kind of work integrated learning, any kind of like internships, like for example the first and second year you would study, and then the third year you would do a work placement? Is there any kind of like work integrated learning, like combination?
Absolutely. So we have a variety of different learning methods. Obviously you have a lot of independent study in the UK,
right.
Group work, exams, assessments, this kind of thing, but then we also have the work integrated learning that you talk about. So as I mentioned before, all of our business courses come with the option to do a 1-year placement year, and this is optional for international students, and it's not something they would need to decide until their second year anyway. So how it works is you would extend your study by another year. So instead of having a 3-year degree, you would have a 4-year degree.
Right.
So students would study for 2 years, and then they would go for their 3rd year out and work in a company, and then come back for their final year. And this is great. This has so many benefits. So I would definitely recommend students take this if you have the opportunity, whichever university you go to, because if you impress your employer, they may even offer you a graduate job afterwards. And then when you graduate, you're going to have that 1-year work experience, and that's going to automatically mean you're probably ahead of the competition already with that. And then there's also other options, like students could maybe, instead of working in a company, they may choose to study abroad at a partner institution for a year, or for our really ambitious students, they can take part in a double degree. So this is 2 degrees for the price of 1. And for this, you would go and study abroad. You would actually study and you would do a work placement abroad with a partner institution. So this looks brilliant on the CV. And then for those students that maybe want to finish their degree in as short a time possible, as some students may do, they can also build up their work experience alongside their studies. They don't have to take an extra year out. And for this, we have what's called a business clinic. And students effectively act as a consultant under the guidance of an academic, and they will provide consultancy advice to local companies and work on real life business problems. So this looks great on the CV and also great for networking.
So you said that the student actually can choose whether they want to do this work integrated learning or not. So does the student have to make this decision early on, like as on the first year they start university, or do they make it like on the by the end of the second year?
Yeah, so they don't need to choose until they've already started university, until they're in their second year. So they can maybe see what's out there, see what their options are like, maybe see what their classmates are doing, their friends are doing. They can even do a placement abroad. So if they want to go back to Vietnam and do a work placement in a local company, they can do that as well.
Okay, so they're not like limited to the companies that are partnered with Aston University, so it's or within the network of Aston University.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's good. I think that's actually a really good point, because a lot of students nowadays, like I said, they're more interested in focusing on the career life as well as like while they're studying, of course, but like the main aim, because they know like eventually they will have to enter the career world, and if they do take these placement tests, the placement offer, they would have an advantage over other students because they took 1 year to focus on the work and gaining that experience, and then going and study and continuing studying afterwards. But then you mentioned something about double degrees, and some students might prefer to do double degrees. Do you mind if I ask, like, how does it really work? Can you go into more details, like for our students to know about?
Yeah, of course. So it's similar to a placement year or a study abroad. It's, again, students wouldn't decide until their second year. I think they need to be on course for about 60%. So they need to be, have worked hard, be a good student. So they need to be able to cope with the workload. And then top students would be chosen, and they would go to one of our 4 partner institutions. I think we have 1 or 2 in France, and 1 in Australia I can think of. We have 4 partner institutions, and they would do a year studying there, but also it's not just study. Part of that is also to do a work placement as well in the country, and that partner institution would help you do that. So it looks brilliant on your CV if you've got this as well.
I think this is actually great information for the students so far, but I think the most thing that students are interested in is how does like the life in Birmingham, like living in the city, how does it like feel? How does it compare, like expenses wise? Is there anything that I can do aside just from studying and focusing on work? Are there any social activities that I could join, things that I can go to, places that I can go to? And just, I think now it's a good time for us to expand on that and tell the students about the city.
Yeah, of course. So obviously in the UK, university is not all about studying. We place a lot of importance on getting that work-life balance or study-life balance, and we really encourage students, to do these extra curriculum activities, to join clubs and societies, to maybe get a part-time job, this kind of thing. So Birmingham as a city, as I said, far cheaper than London to live. Everywhere outside of London tends to be a lot cheaper, and the further north you go, it tends to get cheaper and cheaper. In terms of things to do, obviously you can travel anywhere quite easily because of the good links with the rest of the country. We've got a train station right in the city centre, and it's 10 minutes on the train to the airport, which will take you to Europe very easily, 1 to 2 hours to most European cities. What else can you do? We have shopping, lots of shops. We have the largest indoor shopping mall in Europe. And we have lots of independent shops as well. Obviously lots of cafes, bars, restaurants, clubs, being the second largest city, we have all that as well. Lots of great food places. So I'm a big foodie and I love coffee shops as well. And And we're a very multicultural city as well. So you can get food from so many different restaurants, so many different nationalities are represented in Birmingham.
They're definitely going to get some Vietnamese food, right?
Yes,
that's
of
something
course.
they're going to be finding.
There's lots of Vietnamese places as well.
What about Vietnamese coffee? Do they have that too? Like...
We do have Vietnamese coffee shop, I think, and we have an Indonesian coffee shop. We have that I've been to, so we have Vietnamese and Indonesian.
Indonesian, yeah.
That I can think of, yes. We also have a Chinatown, which apparently is second best after London, I've been told.
Oh.
So that's great as well. And the good thing about Birmingham is, although it's the second largest city, it's actually quite a compact city. The city centre is quite compact. People tend to live on the outskirts. So you can walk everywhere. Within about 20 minutes you can get anywhere. There is a tram network which services the city. It's very cheap, but I've never needed to use that so far. And it has kind of different districts. So you have obviously the city centre where the university is. You've got the business district right there as well. So you've got all the big kind of consultancy firms, the banks, all there as well, which is great to do a placement with. And then you have an area called Digbeth, which is a little bit like Shoreditch in London. I don't know if anyone's heard of Shoreditch, but it's kind of the kind of up and coming artsy young people place. They have really good outdoor food markets going on there. Then you have Chinatown, and then we have the jewellery quarter, which to this day 2/3 of the UK's jewellery is still made.
In there.
So lots to do in Birmingham. Yes. Yes.
I need to go there when I'm deciding to buy a ring.
Yes, you often see a lot of couples walking around looking for their engagement rings. Yep.
That's where I should go then. Because I think a lot of students nowadays are considering that as one of the big plans that they have to do after they finish universities and get it.
Well, I don't know if it's that important these days.
If you're living in Sweden, that's not a big problem, because here we do sambo. You know about the sambo term?
No.
It means you're living together but you're not really married or engaged. You can have kids and you can literally just do that forever. You don't have to marry. So,
but I think also when you're at university, just so many opportunities. It's like kind of the last thing on your mind. You just want to go out there and, you know, like get a good career, travel, explore.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta live your life. That's one of the things I think we're learning here nowadays. And our modern age is actually making this possible. Like, and students, like you see, are interested in going overseas and studying in universities outside of their country. And this is a great point for them to globalize their mind and also learn more from other people as well, from other cultures, not just their own surrounding. And I'm so happy to see that happening so rapidly in Vietnam, and our students are always very keen and interested in going to UK, Australia, Europe, other countries like around the world. And it's just, I'm super proud of them. I'm just always super proud. So I love you guys. You guys are awesome. So I think one thing I forgot to ask you, which is one of the most important thing, and I'm so sorry I forgot, I'm asking you now, and it's about, as a student who is watching the show, they're mainly interested in the International Foundation Year provided by the NCUK, and they want to use that so they could apply to Aston University. So if I may go back to that and just ask you about how can the student get into Aston University through the NCUK? For example, what are the requirements that Aston University puts on the student that are coming through the NCUK? For example, the subject streams grades and the EAP that is expected from the student.
Of course, so if we look at the NCUK Foundation, with the academic grades, we would look for around BBB. We ask to aim for that. We can be a little bit flexible, but it's good if you can aim for BBB, especially if you want that scholarship. And then in terms of English, so the EAP, we would again ask for B, and we're not flexible with the English, but we can be a little bit flexible with the academic grades. Yeah.
But I think it's the English for academic purposes, the EAP is very important because especially our students who are studying NCUK in the University of Economics and in Ho Chi Minh, they're doing the foundation program that is currently, it's a business stream. So it's important that they have a good communication skills. And so language is very important. The English language has to be quite high requirement. And we will make sure that our students, trust me, they're outstanding students, and I've met a lot of them, and they're really, really excited to actually come and and study the program, and they have superb English level, and they just want to do it. And another thing that I would like to ask you, so let me go to my questions here. So as we mentioned, the NCUK IFY program in Vietnam right now, we're doing the business stream. So if we're to talk about the faculty of business at Aston University, so what makes it, like, what differentiates Aston University's faculty business with other universities, say any university that is in the UK or outside of the UK?
Yep, so that's a very important question, and a question that lots of students will ask us naturally. So if we start with the ranking and reputation of our business school, so Aston Business School, as it's known, it holds a triple accreditation, which is the highest accreditation that a business school can get. I think 102 business schools in the world have this accreditation, so it means it's in the top 1% of business schools in the world. So what this means for students is that they can expect, one, a very high standard of teaching, but also future employers will or should recognise the significance of studying at a business school with these accreditations. And also it then attracts top employers to the university, onto our campus, to our careers fairs, to give guest lectures, because they're looking to meet these students that have studied at a good business school, and they're more likely to then offer placements and graduate roles as well. As I mentioned, all our business courses come with the work placement, the study abroad option, and the double degree, and also the business clinic as well, which I've talked about. We offer virtual internships as well for our business students, so it's particularly pertinent in these times. So students can work for companies in another country. They don't need to worry about getting a visa or travelling aspect either. And also it has the added bonus of developing their digital and remote working competencies as well. Also, our business school, for those students that are maybe quite entrepreneurial, we offer a program called Be Seen, and this is for students. They can pitch Be Seen, yes.
Be Seen, so like
B-S-S, sorry, B-S-E-E-N.
Oh, Be Seen.
Be Seen.
I'm interested in this program, Be Seen. So it's about...
It's for entrepreneurial students, and they can basically pitch their idea, and they can get investment, they would get an office space, and they would get a mentor as well, so they get a lot of advice and guidance. And when you're at university, it really is a good time to work on your business ideas, because this is when you will have the time. You'll have a lot of time to do this. I think when you graduate, as you know, you don't have a lot of time, so this is a good time to work on any kind of business idea you might have.
No, this is fantastic, actually. This is great. Thank you for mentioning this, because I know Vietnamese students who I talk to are quite keen on actually establishing their own business after they finish their university life, either in the UK or back home in Vietnam or another country. So this, knowing about this, that there is the opportunity to participate in this Be Seen, and they get a mentor and also get some advice and supervision about how to start this startup or run it effectively and efficiently as well. So this is great. Do they have to apply it at a certain time in their university, or they can do it any?
I believe it runs, I think there probably is an application deadline every year. Okay. So if you don't do the first year, you'll have other years that you can apply. And it is quite competitive. But you know, if you have a good business idea, you can keep applying with that every year. Yeah. No, I think this is good, because I assure you that students in Vietnam would like to know more about this. I think and it's going to be one of the great things that, or one of the focus for a lot of students, especially business students, because they would like to do and achieve this. And knowing that they can do it in Aston University is going to be also a good reason for them to actually apply to university. I think I've gone through a lot of the questions. Let me see, what do I have here? So staying in the UK and working in the UK through the University of Aston Aston University, it's not that difficult, like you said. The university have many connections. Do you mind if I ask you this hypothetical question? So
It's if the student basically study different kind of knowledge or wants to study different kind of knowledge. But I think you already answered this. You said that the student can apply to the double degree.
Yeah, is this about having more of a, I mean, I can mention they can join like a broad degree like business and management where they can pick modules if they don't know if they want to specialize.
Yes, so that's the question here. It's like some students, like, because currently, like, some students who say, okay, I want to go for a Bachelor of Commerce, but I would like to start with the broad knowledge, so I have knowledge from a lot of aspects in the business field, and then, like, maybe I don't know, maybe I will focus or specialize on one area. But some actually end up saying, okay, I still want to have general or broad knowledge about the Bachelor of Commerce, so they want to keep continuing to take modules from different fields instead of just one focused, like, say, accounting or investment. So I believe the Aston University have electives that the student can choose, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's ask this question and see if we have a good answer for it. So Bia, so I have a question here for you, and I think this is good that the students know about this, because it's very common that I get this question from students and they would like to know about it. And hypothetically speaking, if we have a student that applied to Aston University and they got in the program, so say they're studying business-related degree, and they're focused on one field, but then they start to realize, okay, I would like to add more fields, or I would like to broaden my knowledge. Is it possible for them to do that? Like, can they get other experiences from another field, like not just one?
Yeah, of course. So it tends to be the other way around. In our first year, so if we look at, we have a wide variety of business courses, kind of specialist ones. So you might have a course in accounting and finance, or law, or marketing. But in the first year, it tends to be quite general, quite broad. So you'll have lots of different modules. So even if you chose to do something like accounting and finance, in the first year you will still have modules on HR or business law or marketing. So you can pick and choose these modules as well. So you can kind of have a taster of all these different areas. And then in your second and final year, that's when you would specialise more in the subject that you've picked, but also you will also have the option of other modules that interest you as well. So you can kind of tailor the degree to your interests or your the career you want to pursue.
Good. Because this is actually a lot of the students like worry, I would say. They're like, okay, what if I didn't really get the right direction from the beginning? But knowing that actually in the beginning they have this broad knowledge open to them, and then they can specialize at the end, and this is good for
Absolutely.
them, you know?
And for those students that maybe don't know exactly what specialist business area they want to go into, because obviously business encompasses so many different areas, and I think that's quite normal for students. Why would many students know exactly which area they want to go into if they haven't had this experience? So I would recommend going for something like business and management, a kind of broader degree, because this is, for example, our most popular degree, particularly of international students, because they can just pick and choose whichever modules interest them, and they can still specialise within that broad degree. If they want to do accounting and finance, they can still always each year pick more accounting and finance modules, so they would probably end up doing almost as much accounting and finance within their general business degree as they would do in their specialised accounting and finance degree.
And that bachelor was the Bachelor of
Business and Management.
Yeah. And it takes about 3 years. Does it have
3 years
work placement as well?
Yeah, all our business courses come with
Perfect.
a 1 year placement.
I think that's gonna be the interest of a lot of students. Definitely. Great. I think I'm just gonna ask you one final question, because I've gone through all the questions that I have right here, but I have one question, and I would like to ask you this before we end the episode today. And this is more of a personal letter from you to our students that are watching this. And it's basically, what advice do you have to our students? What do you want to tell them before they decide to apply to university? So any kind of advice you have for them?
Yeah, definitely. I think make the most of every opportunity you're given at university. I know this sounds really obvious, and everyone told me the same thing before I started, but I still didn't. I got a little bit lazy at university. And I think don't just focus purely on your studies, because university is so much more than just getting a degree. You know, it's about meeting people, it's about networking. You never know what kind of opportunities or jobs you're going to hear through these people you've met at university. I would say attend your guest lectures. There's always so many events going on at university, particularly within business schools. And utilise the careers and placements team, because they are part of the university package that you're paying for. If you have these kind of ideas about starting your own business, I would say now is the time to do that as well. And join the clubs and societies, because they're there. And when else are you going to join? I don't know, fencing, or be able to try out like snowboarding or scuba diving, this kind of thing. Because as you know, Adam, when you graduate, you don't really have any time to do this kind of thing. So university is definitely the time.
Definitely agree. I agree 100% everything you said there. I wish if I did the same thing. I was also a bit lazy at university. I went to the University of Nottingham, so I was a bit lazy there too, but I should have done more. Like you said, everybody told me the same thing, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna focus on study. I want to get high grades and just focus on that. But then realizing at the end that, you know, university, is much broader like window that you can look at and have so many opportunities open for you if you just look at that window. So great, thank you. This is great advice, and I think students, especially our students in Vietnam, they know that I need to do more. And getting this motivation from you, this letter, I think gonna give them that like kind of encouragement and stamp of like approval. Yes, you need to do more. Don't just focus on studying. And so this is great. I think students love it. I think students who are into coming overseas, they're more keen on applying to or trying out different things and, you know, exploring the world, not just being in that bubble of like just study. Unless you want to go into the academia life and be a professor or PhD, that's okay. That's okay. You know, you can do that too.
And you definitely need to study.
And we have that available to you. So I finished all my questions. Actually, I don't have any more questions, and my coffee is almost done. So we're almost out of time here. So I think I'm just going to take one more sip of coffee, and I think
my coffee's a little bit cold, but
oh no. You know, in Vietnam they do drink cold coffee, so I had to get used to that. When I was in Vietnam, they would give me like a cup and they would put ice in it, and I was like, this is not how we do it in Sweden. It has to be hot, super hot, but it's good. I love it. It's like, what an experience. Like, very, very delicious. Hopefully one day you can come to Vietnam and try it out, and it's fantastic. So I have no more questions. I'm gonna close my iPad, and thank you again, B, for coming and joining me today to do this coffee chat with Adam. And you had, I hope your coffee was good. Mine was okay.
Mine was okay. I'm sure it's not as good as the Vietnamese coffee.
Definitely not. I should give me some Vietnamese coffee next time when I'm doing this. But thank you again, B, for being here today. You've been fantastic, and you answered questions like marvelously, and I'm really, really happy to have you on the show. And hopefully we will have some more of this. Like, this is not the last time we'll see each other. We'll have another episode in the near future. We'll probably be talking about not just the Faculty of Business, but other faculties like Faculty of Science and Engineering as well. So we will focus on those in the near future. But for now, I think this is a great episode, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Adam, and I look forward to meeting some Vietnamese students in the future.
Definitely.
Birmingham.
Definitely. Okay, well, I'll end the episode here. So thank you very much, and do take care, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode, and see you then. Bye-bye.